Nithyananda, hi, this is Ma Nitya Oviananda. And by the grace of His Holiness Paramahamsa Nithyananda, I'm here to speak to you again about Sanyas. And I wanted to bring up an interesting statement. Some time ago, Swamiji was speaking about Sanyas in satsangs, in the morning satsangs, back in 2013. And I can include this link to you guys so you can take a look at it. But one of the major and beautiful, powerful, basically lifestyle that we live is completion, the completion process, which I've spoken about before. And that is taking patterns and past cognitions and things that you live with, that are basically controlling how you deal with situations now. So there are things from the past that are in your present, causing you to react a certain way now, and it basically affects your future. So when you do the completion process, you take those things that cause these emotional ups and downs, these different things that get you upset. You go through the completion process and relieve those things out of your system so that they're no longer bothering you and you're no longer living from that space. So one of the important things about Sanyasi lifestyle is that we live that. No matter what happens, we do our best when we live the completion process. And so one thing Swamiji was saying in the same video, he was speaking about Ramakrishna, the great Ramakrishna. And Swamiji, for some time, he actually was a brahmacharya there at the Ramakrishna mission during his wandering days. And he was speaking about Ramakrishna's life, and he quoted him saying how even a failed sannyasi is 1,000,000 times greater than a successful grihastha. That means a person of a married life. And Swamiji was saying how he was shocked when he read that. He's like thinking, it's kind of fanatical statement, because Ramakrishna himself was a grihastha. Actually, he was married, but till death, he was officially married to Sharada Devi, even though he took sannyas. But of course, they never lived together, and he lived like a sannyasi, and they never had a physical relationship. And actually, he was purely a guru to her, and he felt like she was like a goddess, like Devi, and that's how they had that relationship together. It was such a beautiful, pure relationship, such a divine relationship. And until the end of Ramakrishna's life, Sharada Devi was living with him and taking care of him, and he continued to function as a sannyasi, doing all the rites and rituals of a sannyasi, even until that time. And he even gave sannyas to 12 of his disciples, including Vivekananda. So understanding that sannyas makes you intelligent. We're still, maybe some of us are different levels of that, but the idea is that we're just completely trying to burn ourselves with these tattvas, these powers of integrity, authenticity, responsibility, and enriching that Swamiji is giving us. Such a thing to live by, to do our best, to expand ourselves, and to get through these powerless cognitions. I mean, we're raised with these powerless cognitions and incompletions, which bring us down. We're supposed to be leaders in our life. And when you're a sannyasi, you're just continuously getting into that space of being powerful, remembering completion and being powerful. It's a 24/7 job. It's not like you're just doing a little spiritual practice and a little puja in the morning and going off to work. It is 24/7. You're continuously reminded of this, if not from yourself, from the members of your order. So your other fellow brahmacharyas and sannyasis. And Swamiji himself, he's continuously training us with this thing, because we have to drop our ego, we have to drop all these incompletions and connect to that divine part. And only these things are just blocking that from happening. So being a sannyas is hardcore, and it's full time. It's no, sannyas light where you're pretending, wearing some pretty orange color and going around and, doing a little puja in the morning. It's a full-time thing. And continuously you have to look at yourself and be ferocious. I mean, sometimes I go through periods where honestly, it's maybe a little harder for me to keep that up, you know, where I'm getting into that powerless space. And I don't want to be there. And I know it's not correct, but the more and more I practice the completion, and the more ferocious I am with myself, it becomes easier and easier. At least it's a less of a time where I'm getting into that space of powerlessness, where I'm realizing, okay, here's my thought current, here's what's going on. Let me just do with it, do away with it. But it still hits us. It's going to hit us until the day we get enlightened, until that moment we get enlightened and we have that realization. But the more you practice these things and the more you get yourself soaked in it, as you do as a sannyasi, the quicker it becomes. It's like the rocket to enlightenment. So you can sit around on a horse, or like as Swamiji says, a bullock cart, which is pulled by an ox, or you can get into the flight and get into that spaceship and make the process so much quicker and more interesting and exciting. So consider taking sannyas, especially if you've never been married before and you're serious about seeking and you're understanding how living a regular material life is not cutting it, how getting married isn't appealing to you, how living a spiritual life and getting into that challenge, into that thought current of getting into the space of enlightenment. What is out there? What is out there? Meaning, what is in there? How are you connected to the cosmos? What happens after you die? What is the meaning of life? Why are we all here going through this? You will get to know all these answers because you have an avatar, a living incarnation, as per Hinduism, guiding you every step of the way. So basically, you can't go wrong. It's a total win situation for you to do this. So consider at least starting out with Inner Awakening. Go to innerawakening.org and sign up for the next program. Find out what it's like to be around the avatar. And I guarantee you will definitely understand what it means and what it means for you, and the importance of getting into the vow of sannyas and getting into that as your life path. So please feel free, put some questions in the comments field under this video and I'll be glad to answer any of them. And again, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Sanyas series. Thanks. Have a good day. Nithyananda.